Listen to your heart. Your heart is never wrong. Always face the truth. Your heart won't lead you home.
Welcome to Soul Wealth, wealthy conversations that nurture the soul. Get ready for an enlightening conversation that will nurture your soul and help you live your best life. Now, here's your host, Dr. Vicki Johnson.
Welcome to the Soul Wealth Radio Show. I am your host, Dr. Vicki Johnson, here on 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov. I am grateful. I am excited to be back in studio for the Soul Wealth Radio Show with another amazing guest. Today, my guest, what I love about her is that your empowerment is her passion. She's a best-selling author, public speaker, professional coach, and educator. She's also an ordained interfaith minister. She's educated, y'all. She's really smart. She has 2 bachelor's degrees, one a BS in counseling psychology and a BA in English, a master's in business administration, 4 professional certifications. She's a certified holistic doula, a certified master Reiki practitioner, a certified aromatherapist and herbalist, and she has an honorary doctorate of divinity. What I love about her is that she is the founder of the Womb Sauna and the Womb Sauna University, which offers a world-class certification program for womb sauna practitioners and a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week online course options for a holistic health, education, and self-development. She also provides womb sauna services for women who really want to heal everything. She started her first business at the age of 6 years old. And what's really powerful about my guest today is all of this began as she started her own journey to heal from polycystic ovarian syndrome, PTSD, depression, and more. All of that quickly became an opportunity to transform her life first, to heal her own body, because she believes that illness is the alarm system from which our spirit says it's time for change. The Womb Sauna has become a vehicle to support women in creating and changing their lives so that they not just need healing in their bodies, but experience healing in their entire life. Welcome to the Soul Wealth Radio Show, Thema Azize Serwa.
Wow. Can I just put you in my pocket, and every time I need people to know who I am, just say, Vicki, here you go. What an amazing introduction.
What's up, Miss Heal Everything?
Listen.
It's been a long time coming. We're sitting in here with blue lights. You got blue hair going on.
I'm loving this. I couldn't have planned
that. All
that.
of the indigo
energy
that we
is
need
here. And I'm
heal.
sitting here with you, who I love and adore and cherish.
Oh
you
my
are
gosh.
my sister.
Thank you.
And I want to greet the Soul Wealth Radio listeners and say I'm so happy that you're with us. This that you're doing, Vicki, is epic.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
necessary.
I am grateful. I appreciate that. I can't do this without an amazing team, so I haven't done this, but shout out to my amazing producer, Shane Lewis,
Yes.
and our GM, Max Myrick. I mean, without their yes, I could not do this, so I'm really grateful. I know this is a privilege. It's an honor. It's a gift and a tool, actually, so we can take soul wealth to the world. So who is Thema Azize Serwa?
Wow.
Oh, Let me stop playing. No, I'm not going to stop playing.
Well,
Who is
before
Thema?
I introduce myself, I'm looking at you, right? And you look like the Oprah of DC radio right now. I just need to acknowledge this anointing on you in this studio with this blue. I don't know if it's the blue light.
It must be the blue
or
lights.
the beautiful curls, but I just want to affirm that and speak that out. So who am I? I actually have a daily practice of defining myself. And I really tune into that on Sunday, and whatever definition I come up with, I like to carry that throughout the whole week. So this week, I define myself as an artist. And my canvas is the wombs of women.
That's awesome.
And my artwork in the world is a transformed woman. Whenever you see a woman that's connected with my energy, who activates her awareness in a way that she can now begin to heal everything, that's my canvas.
That's a nice canvas.
That's beautiful. That's who I am. I interrupt the dysfunctions in people's lives. I embody divine power. I've asked God to allow me to be that vessel. And what happens, to my surprise, is when I hang out with folks, something stir up and they decide they want to be powerful too. They want to live their best life and they want to heal everything. And when I first started doing this work, it was as simple as getting women undressed and having them sit over a pot of herbs as a ritual of healing and a valid healing modality that helps with fibroids and infertility. I am my first
Hold on for a
testimonial.
minute. Yeah, you are your first testimonial. So let's talk about the pot and share briefly where that came from, the origin of that.
So in every indigenous culture throughout the world, you will find that the women created their own healing practices.
Okay.
So grandma might notice that her granddaughter's going into puberty. Come here, girl, come get on this pot of herbs. And it was almost like a rites of passage, an initiation. So it's in African cultures, Asian cultures, European. Every indigenous culture in the world has a preserved oral tradition of vaginal steaming, and we're starting to discover in recent years documented evidence of this practice. So in my industry, we're in like the early stages where acupuncture used to be.
Okay.
This is very exciting because we're collecting all of this information so that people can understand it. So it came into my life through Queen Afua. In her book, Sacred Woman, which I consider to be like the Bible for Black female health. I mean, it's an amazing book. If you don't have that, add it to your library. And there was one sentence that talked about steaming the womb with herbs. I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. And it's the kind of book you read with a tribe of women. So I joked with the other women. I said, when I get down to Atlanta for our spring celebration, y'all gonna smoke my womb with herbs. They were like, Thema, we cool, but I ain't touching you. You know, we were laughing. We were laughing about it, but they surprised me. They took me to a Korean spa down in Atlanta called Jeju. Some of you listening may have seen it featured on reality TV. And I walk in there, and there's this petite Asian woman, barely spoke any English. And she looks at me, and I'm crying because at this point, doctors had told me I would never be able to conceive on my own. I was in my 20s. In addition to that, I had prayed a prayer that said, God, break every chain. Had no idea the weight of that prayer. So literally, I was being broken wide open. My jaw was literally broken when I tried to get a wisdom tooth extraction. My father had just transitioned. I was going through a divorce. And on top of that, they're telling me that I'm infertile. And I'm standing in front of this little petite woman that barely speaks any English, crying like this, saying something's wrong with me. She says, I got something for you. I had no idea what the herbs were. Don't ask me. I can't tell you to this day. But I was so surrendered to the process and so ready to do something that I've never done that I just jumped in.
Okay, hold on. We take these pregnant pauses here on the Soul Wealth Radio Show. And so what I want to frame for those of you listening is that the circumstances that created the problem are not the same circumstances that can heal the problem. And what you just said was that they're telling me something is wrong with me. And she says, wait a minute, I have something for you. It's different. You've not experienced it before. So the frame is that you have to create a new paradigm to heal. And frequently, people get stuck in a cycle of dysfunction and toxicity and illness and sickness because they try to heal the problem in the same context that created the problem. And that's not possible to do. So she has something for you. You sit on the pot.
Yeah, and the TV was going. It was other women. I get butt naked. She puts me in this little cape, and she puts the herbs. And as I'm sitting there are some emotions stirring up. But because of that environment and their method, there was nobody there to coach me or help me understand what was happening because this was new. Timer went off after 20 minutes. She's like, you're done. I'm like, oh, okay. We're finished. Okay. And when I got up off of that pot, I hadn't had a cycle on my own for over a year. I got up, and after 20 minutes, my cycle had come. And I said, wait a minute.
Something happened.
Something has happened that I did not foresee. And so I trusted the wisdom of my body telling me that it liked that because of its response. And when I came back to Maryland, I'm Googling, and this is popping on the internet, before it's on reality TV. Nobody can explain what I just experienced.
Can you hold on for a minute? You said you trusted the wisdom of your body. And I just want to frame that because the truth is our bodies talk to us.
Every day, all day.
If something's not right, we feel it in our body.
Your body is obedient to your consciousness.
Wow. Pause. Wait a minute. Y'all tweet that. Write that. Frame that. Post that on a Post-it note and put it on a mirror. Say that again. Your body
is obedient to your consciousness.
Your body is obedient to your consciousness. So even in the midst of this, what is becoming a pandemic of the coronavirus right now that everybody's talking about and walking around paranoid, and there's a difference between being aware and vigilant and paranoia, right? So we operate in awareness and vigilance and higher consciousness of healing, well-being, wholeness, making choices, doing things that support our body, since what we feel in our body is evidence of our consciousness. That's powerful.
You know, Marianne Williamson says in the book A Return to Love, she says, your body keeps score.
Wow.
You can beat your face, you can dress real nice, and you can make yourself look like you're whole. But your womb's still carrying the weight of them fibroids.
Wow.
Or your knees are still cracking and snacking, you know. And my mother taught me this, and this helped me discover my power to heal anything that crosses my path. My mother said, daughter, doctors are practicing medicine. They are following your lead from the moment you enter their office. They ask you what's wrong, and based on your self-knowledge and your connection to your own experience, they begin practicing based on your truth.
That's true. I do it.
That set me free. I thank God that I come from a lineage of women who, in the face of all the odds being stacked against them, they activate their faith and they do not submit to their fears. And so I come from a womb where my mother sat in her doctor's office after they told her kidneys were failing and you need to be on the transplant list. And my mother looked them in the eye and said, do the test again.
That's just knowing in your
That's
knower.
Linda Yule. And she's laughing and she rubs her hands together and lays her hands on her own body, because she knew in that moment, I'm either going to submit to what everybody else thinks is happening with me, or I'm going to activate my sovereignty in my life and decree and declare my truth and stand in it.
That's good. Pause for a minute, Thema. Because you dropping nuggets, right? Like people are drowning right now in all the nuggets that you dropping.
Is that what the blue about? Is this the ocean today?
That's so, yes. So pause for a moment because I want those listening to just take that in and breathe. And you are another one. I probably need like 4 shows to break through all of the wisdom that is in your womb. So I want to go back. You said you came back to Maryland, and I know you built this business, and our listeners will be able to find all the information about the Womb Sauna and who you are and the Womb Sauna University. But I want to dig in your heart for a minute. Who or what inspires you?
I'm really inspired by the women in my bloodline. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, my aunties, my mother. I used to judge their struggles because the reality is the baton was passed to me to face some generational patterns. Now my understanding is that you made room for me.
In the middle of your struggle.
They made room for me because of their struggles. It allowed for Thema to be birthed and change some patterns. If they had conquered it, what would have been my opportunity? I really am inspired by the women in my bloodline, and I have a whole new understanding of their lives and what they endured and how that made room for my gifts.
That's awesome. Share a lesson. Share a lesson that caused you to pivot.
The lesson, the most recent lesson that has caused me to pivot is that there is no freedom if you don't have boundaries. And boundaries are a reflection of how much you understand what you need and your willingness to prioritize that. It has changed my energy levels. It has changed how I socialize and what relationships I preserve or let die. And it has given me some space to learn how to grieve and create at the same time because I'm literally pivoting.
That's so good.
This is what we do when we talk.
You can create even in the midst of grief.
Yes.
And I think you're so wide open when you're grieving because it's so raw and unfiltered that I just believe downloads come in the midst of that because you're so open. You don't have any resistance. You're just like grief. Grief really is an arrow, right? It teaches you.
I love that.
It points you in the direction of what you need, even in its raw form, which is scary. It's scary because you're also getting downloads of, I need this. I don't want that anymore. I need this. I need to go this way. I need to be with this person. And I think that's so powerful and empowering to people who are listening, who may be grieving, who need to hear. Grief comes to teach you what you need to do next.
And there is no grief without death. And one of my favorite truths is that death is a master teacher. And I know we like to focus on living and the vibrancy and the light, right? But before we got to the light, there was darkness. And learning what's in your shadows, you know, learning what's dark in your life doesn't have to create despair when you shift into acceptance of what is. You know, my Baba told me, and Baba means spiritual father in my spiritual tradition. He said, baby, he country girl. He put creases in his jeans, but that's another interview conversation. I said, Baba, can you please stop starching your jeans? He said, baby, all pain is the fruit of resistance. If you are in physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual or psychological, ask yourself in that moment, what am I refusing to accept?
All pain is the fruit of resistance. I'm going to say that again. All pain is the fruit of resistance. So if you want to stop hurting,
Accept.
surrender.
Oh, but how could they? Accept.
Surrender.
Oh, but I'm tired of. Accept.
Surrender.
And as soon as you accept it, it gets light.
Yeah.
Because
You
now
can
you're not
move.
trying to use your energy to make it anything other than what it is. And it's easy to accept the events, affairs of your life and other people when you're radical with your self-acceptance.
Wow. That's so good.
So grief always returns me to myself.
That's good, Thema. No, that's good.
You like that?
That was really good.
I would twerk, but it's so calm
Oh,
in
my
here, but I'm not
goodness.
going to do that right now. Because, that's how I celebrate. That's my shout.
Let me ask you another question. What moment changed your life forever?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say the moment that changed my life forever was when I heard my ex-husband say, "I regret the day I married you."
How did that change you forever?
It birthed the woman I am because up until that point in my life, I did not realize how much people were tied up in my energy who did not even see me correctly. And I didn't realize how codependent I was in my life. I mean, my whole life was about service. But that question is making me think about something I wrote about in my journal recently. And I said, God did not create me for service. There's a deeper purpose. So when he hurt me that way and pushed me back into myself, all I had left was me. I had to figure out how to pay everything by myself. I had to figure out how to, have joy outside of that marriage because it was dying, kind of was dead, And as I got back with myself, then I discovered that I am a perfect idea in the mind of God.
That's good. I am a perfect idea in the mind of God.
When God made us, the thought was not, I need servants. The thought was, let's make man and woman in our image. And it's good. That was the first act of reproduction. That was the first act of being fruitful and multiplying. God said, here's the blueprint. I need you to know you're not here to carry everybody else. And up until that point in my life was about carrying everybody.
That's awesome. What are you thankful for? What are you grateful for?
Oh, Zariel Jean Morel.
Zariel Jean Morel. Hey,
Bone
Zariel.
of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That's the child, the human being that I made that doctor said wouldn't even make it here.
Wow.
And every day she amazes me and reminds me that she's mine, especially when she went to school working for the teachers. I said, stop that, Zariel Jean Morel. She has so much wisdom, and I'm very grateful for my daughter.
How old is she?
She's 4.
4 years old.
Going on 144.
Wow. Hi, Zariel. Want you to let her hear us say her name
Yes.
on the radio when you play this back.
I sure will. She will love that.
Yeah, she's going to say, did she say my name?
That's Auntie Vicky.
Yes, Zariel Jean Morel. I love that little girl. What legacy do you want to leave?
When people look at the way I live my life, I want them to see a Black woman in America who was whole.
Who was whole? W-H-O-L-E.
Whole. W-H-O-L-E.
All right. I just want to make sure that comes through.
Let's say healed. Is that
Yes,
clear?
that's better. That's better.
I want them to see that there's a Black woman that grew up, lived in America in this century who actually healed herself.
Healed everything.
Healed everything.
How can our listeners get in touch with you? How can they find you?
So I am Googleable. Give God praise. If you type the womb sauna in your internet search engine, you will see all the work that I have done. You can also go to thewombsauna.com and subscribe to our email list. If you do that, you'll get a free guided meditation to help you align with how to start healing yourself. And then you can find me all over Facebook. and all over Instagram. We're all over social media. We have a group called Let the Womb Be Heard on Facebook, where women just present themselves as they are and get love and laugh and live. And then lastly, if you want some direct interaction, you want to figure out how to schedule an appointment, give us a call. The number is 888-576-WOMB or 9662. So 888-576-WOMB.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Share with us before we close a soul wealth tip. Like you've said some throughout this conversation. You've said many, actually. But I just want to give you space to just share a soul wealth tip to help our listeners heal everything.
So I would like to invite those listeners, just take a quick deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you can, maybe place your hand over your heart and just say out loud, I choose me. And just gain some awareness of where you feel that in your body. And settle into your decision.
Settle in to your decision. Because frequently we say that, and then we go in another direction and forget about the declaration. That's powerful, Thema.
Yeah, I hope y'all felt it. And I hope you live it.
I choose me. With your hand over your heart. And then settle into your decision. See, we make a decision, and then those two words are becoming really important for me. And then.
Ooh.
Because people
I
are
felt
making
that when you said that, Vicky.
a lot of decisions and then not doing anything to implement or execute or activate or manifest. So the then
yeah, that's huge.
is really, really powerful.
Because what comes after that is the truth of who you really are unto yourself.
So choose you and then settle into your decision. Thema, thank you.
I love you. I like
for
being here.
being a guest on the Soul Wealth Radio Show. It's been amazing having you here and making this impartation to those who are listening, this wealthy conversation that I know is nurturing your soul. I am your host, Dr. Vicki Johnson, and am so grateful that you have joined us again here on the Soul Wealth Radio Show, here on dcradio.gov and 96.3 HD4. You can get my new book, my latest book, Soul Wealth, Finding Vision, Compassion, Authenticity, Abundance, and Legacy in the Midst of Chaos via my website, which is Vicki Johnson. That's VIKKI Johnson.com. Ladies, you can join the Soul Wealth Sacred Sisterhood on Facebook, or you can join my mailing list via my website. Again, that's Vicki, VIKKI Johnson.com. Listen, Soul Wealth is your birthright. It is your inheritance. So go out, live full, so you can die empty. Until next time, peace.
You've been listening to Soul Wealth, wealthy conversations that nurture the soul with Dr. Vicki Johnson. Soul Wealth is not just a brand, it's a lifestyle of vision, compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy created one conversation, one choice at a time. For more information, visit VickiJohnson.com or click on Soul Wealth at dcradio.gov.